Welcome to my garden located in central North Carolina. It's June 1st as I tape this video. The weather is just starting to heat up, and the harsh UV rays of the southern sun will soon take its toll on these plants. So take a walk with me and let's have a look while the garden is still vibrant and thriving. These Brussels sprouts never formed sprouts. I'm not sure why, so if any of you have some suggestions, leave them in the comments. At this point, I'm just going to keep these as a trap crop. These husky red cherry tomatoes have just started ripening. Look at how loaded these vines are with fruit. In a week or so, I should have more than I know what to do with. These are the only indeterminate varieties I grow. Indeterminate tomatoes rarely survive the brutal summers we get here. Last year's Cherokee Trail of Tears crop was lost when a violent thunderstorm caused the trellis to collapse. I was able to save a handful of seeds from the few plants that survived. I normally plant a 24-foot row of these. I'm growing this 6-foot section only to produce seeds for next year's crop. Red kidney beans always do extremely well for me. We use them mainly for making chili. I have been saving seeds from these for several years. I save the perfect pods and use those for the following year's planting. Every year the harvest just gets better and better. These are already loaded with young beans and still producing flowers. Some people might say that beans are so inexpensive, why bother to grow them? My answer is 2 reasons. 1, they are really easy to grow, and 2, store-purchased beans are loaded with toxic chemicals. I grow as close to organic as possible. I do use a limited amount of synthetic fertilizers, but I never use any herbicides or pesticides. I've already harvested our peas for the season. I'll be removing these plants in the next day or 2 and planting navy beans in the same space. This year I only grew 2 bell pepper plants. Last year I went crazy and had about 12 plants. I gave a ton away and our freezer is still full. These red onions are outstanding. Look at the size of them. I purchased dormant onions from Walmart in late winter after my seed starts failed. I continue to be pleasantly surprised at how well these are doing, and they were priced very reasonably. I grew these jalapenos from seeds, starting them in our kitchen bay window. I'll let these go until they turn red ripe. Then I make sriracha sauce out of them. I also pickle and freeze them as rings too. These white onions were from onion sets purchased at Lowe's. Look at how loaded those jalapeno plants are. This year I decided I wasn't going to buy expensive seed potatoes anymore. These potatoes were grown from high-quality organic potatoes purchased from a grocery store. They are starting to die back now and will be ready for harvest in a week or 2. Yukon Golds are in the left bed and russets are on the right. I dug up a few of the golds last week and they were huge and delicious. This is one of my garden nemesises, the leaf-footed bug. I'm only seeing about 1 a day right now, but in a few weeks, they will be all over everything, and I will be battling them daily for the remainder of the summer and into early fall. I contact spray them with soapy water. This golden bison tomato is a prolific producer of sweet yellow tomatoes. Unfortunately, it already has some blight and will likely be an early season casualty. I should still get a significant harvest before it fully succumbs. I grow this Principe Borghese tomato variety strictly for dehydrating. After drying, I toss them into freezer bags and freeze them. They're little flavor bombs and pack a powerful punch in soups, stews, and other dishes. You can see these vines are loaded. These peach trees are on their third year, and I expect to get my first harvest this year. It has been a struggle to keep them healthy, as they are one of the most difficult fruits to grow organically. So far this year, the leaves are disease-free and healthy and vibrant looking. The fruits are still somewhat small, but slowly getting bigger. If they make it, harvest will be sometime around August. These net-like bags protect the fruits from the many pests that would love to eat them. The white tape on the trunk of the trees is sticky tape to trap ants and other bugs that would crawl up the trunk and destroy the tree. It's just white duct tape applied so the sticky side is facing out. Delicata squash has become a favorite of my wife and I. It has a very thin skin that doesn't need to be peeled and a flavor profile very close to a sweet potato. It stores very well out of refrigeration too. If you've never tried it, you don't know what you're missing, but beware of supermarket delicata. It has almost no flavor. Grow your own or try to find some that you know was grown locally. This is my first year growing Kajari melon. I heard about it from a gardening YouTube channel I watch called The Millennial Gardener. This melon is native to India and is said to be one of the sweetest of all melons. I can't wait to try it. The Burpee pickler has become my favorite cucumber for pickling. It's a heavy producer of roughly 4-inch long, nicely shaped cucumbers, perfect for pickling. My planting method for all of my cucurbits is a staggered harvest as shown on the tag. I put my transplants out in the garden on March 7th on the left side and at the same time direct sowed seeds on the right side in the same bed. You can see the vine on the left is already producing while the vine on the right has just begun the flowering stage. The result will be a continuous supply well into summer. I did the same planting method with cantaloupes and the Kajari melons. You're looking at a row of 6 Roma tomato plants. I have 12 Roma plants in total. In between each plant in this row are various herbs. I grow mostly Romas because I make and can a ton of salsa, marinara, and tomato sauce, enough to last an entire year. I've found Romas to be the best for canning. Thai basil is an amazing herb that I simply can't get enough of. I just toss the leaves in a freezer bag and freeze it. It is perfectly fine this way when used in stir fries. I also dry some and grind it up for a shaker jar. It's super easy to grow and so good in a variety of dishes. Look at how loaded these Roma tomato plants are. I have 7 of these sweet basil plants. My wife plans on making pesto with them, among many other uses. I'll also use it when I make a batch of marinara. My strawberry season is just about done. This is another fruit that is a real struggle to grow organically. I lose as much as 70 to 80% to pests, mold, and fungus. I'm going to try a new growing method next year, and I'll probably document it in a video. My corn this year is growing phenomenally well. The ears are already well into formation, and I should be harvesting my first ears in about 2 or 3 weeks. This variety is called Peaches and Cream, and is known for its large, sweet, and juicy ears. All of my garden beds are 3 feet wide by 24 feet long, divided into 4 6-foot sections. This corn is growing in 2 of those 6-foot sections, with 18 stalks in each, for a total of 36 corn stalks. We eat what we can fresh and then freeze the rest on the cob so we can enjoy our homegrown corn on the cob all winter long. I scatter various flowers throughout my garden to attract pollinators. As a bonus, they add to the beauty of the garden as well. I also grow a large amount of dill and stagger the plantings to ensure I have plenty of dill heads for making pickles. Dill is also said to deter some garden pests. I forgot to mention I grew all of my tomatoes from seed in our kitchen bay window, except for the Husky Red from earlier in the video, which I bought at one of the big box stores. I've already harvested about half of my carrots. I'll harvest the rest within the next few days. They didn't quite get as large as I had hoped because the tomato plant next to them got so large it shaded them out. These were the only survivors of the onions I started from seed back in winter. This is a Texas Grano variety that has a flavor similar to Vidalia onions. North Carolina is the #1 state for growing sweet potatoes. They love the heat and intense sun. As the vines grow, I bury them, leaving only the leaves exposed. Everywhere there is a leaf stalk, they will send out a root, and each root is a potential sweet potato. I've got so good at growing them that I had to cut way back. Last year my yield was around 150 pounds from 4 trellised plants. This year I'm only growing 2, and I'm not trellising them. These sunflowers are the type that only get about 2 feet tall. This oregano plant is a perennial for us. It grows so prolifically, I have to trim it back several times a year. I have 6 blueberry bushes planted in groups of 3. We grow Kruger and Onslow varieties. These bushes are in their 2nd year and we are hopeful that we get our first harvest this year. We are in competition with the birds, so we are trying to figure that out. I don't like using nets, but we may have to. We're going to see how it goes this year without them. The Krugers should be ready for harvest in a few weeks, and the Onslows will follow not too far behind. These 3 are alongside our garage, planted in the same arrangement. A Kruger in the middle, flanked by 2 Onslows. These are all ribeye varieties, which grow well in the south. The Kruger produces some of the largest berries and can reach the size of a quarter. This is a Brown Select Satsuma orange tree. It's also in its 2nd year. If all goes well, I'll be enjoying homegrown oranges late November. This is a cold hardy variety that can handle temperatures into the mid-20s. It only needs to be taken inside about 10 to 20 nights a year. Some people in our grow zone plant them in ground and take protective measures like blankets and heaters when we get a cold snap. I also have a key lime that gets treated the same way. This is my composting area. I do open cold composting. I bag all of my grass clippings and deposit them here along with kitchen scraps, garden waste, and things like hedge and tree trimmings that I run through a chipper. I produce a massive quantity of compost this way. Weeds can be a problem with cold composting, but the trade-off is the sheer volume of compost I can produce. Lastly, I thought I'd give you a tour of what my wife and I call our Zen garden. It's a combination flower and herb garden and is mostly designed and maintained by my wife. Enjoy the sights and sounds. So that concludes this garden tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And please consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons. Commenting, liking, and subscribing all go a long way towards ensuring the video reaches more people. Thank you for your support.